Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle one of the most classic, high-stakes moments in any job interview, that question about your 5-year plan. Now, it's a moment that can feel like a total trap, but you know what? By the end of this explainer, you'll see it as your single biggest opportunity to absolutely shine.
Ah, there it is. Just hearing it can make your palms sweat, can't it? It feels so big, so definite. I mean, you're just trying to figure out what to have for lunch tomorrow, and suddenly they want a 5-year roadmap. It's a really tricky question, and honestly, it's designed to test a lot more than just your ambition.
And that's because this really is a critical moment. The interviewer is listening for your commitment, your self-awareness, and, this is the most important part, how your personal goals actually align with their company's future. It's a test of foresight. Okay, let's dive into this.
So first things first, we need to understand what not to do. We're going to deconstruct two of the most common and, frankly, damaging mistakes people make when they try to answer this. Okay, let's start with this one. You can almost hear the uncertainty in that voice, can't you? It's vague, it's a little hesitant, and it's completely focused on what they can get. It just sounds like a wish list, not a professional strategy. So why does this fail so badly? Well, it just screams red flags. The focus is entirely on a high position and a high salary. It's all about what's in it for you. There's zero mention of the company, no clear path, and it just comes across as entitled and honestly unrealistic, especially for someone just starting out. And here's the second big pitfall. And this one is often delivered with a little too much confidence. Now, it might feel bold, maybe even honest, but for an employer, it's a massive risk, especially when they're hiring someone early in their career. I mean, with this answer, you're basically telling the interviewer, just so you know, I plan on leaving. You're signaling that you see their company as nothing more than a temporary training ground, a stepping stone to your real goal. So why would they ever invest time, money, and training in someone who has already announced their exit plan? Okay, so we've seen what doesn't work. Now let's completely shift gears and build the winning formula for the perfect response. The key here isn't to have some scripted answer, but to really understand a strategic formula that shows true professional maturity. This is the fundamental mindset shift you have to make. Look, the interviewer doesn't expect you to have a crystal ball. What they really want to see is a vision for your professional journey, one that shows how you plan to contribute, learn, and grow right there in that company. And here's a super clear, actionable structure that just works. You start by showing your dedication to mastering the actual job you're interviewing for. Then you talk about expanding your impact. And finally, you aim for a future where you're adding real strategic value. It's a logical and very impressive progression. And this is what that formula sounds like in practice. Notice the tone. It's calm, it's confident, and it's totally professional. The language is all about growth, contribution, and learning. It shows you've thought seriously, not just about your future, but about your future with this company. So the reason this works so well is that it hits the perfect trifecta. It shows you're ambitious enough to want to grow, but you're also realistic enough to know that it takes time and effort. And most importantly, it frames all of that ambition within the context of the company's success, which signals loyalty. All right. Let's distill all of this down into a few simple golden rules that you can easily remember even when you're under the pressure of a real interview.
This right here is everything. It's a crucial mindset shift. Stop thinking about the position you want and start talking about your progression. Stop talking about the salary you expect and start talking about the skills you want to build. This tiny shift in language makes a world of difference. Honestly, if you remember only one thing from our time together, let it be this. You have to show the interviewer that you see your personal success and the company's success as intertwined. When you grow, the company grows with you. That is an incredibly powerful message to send. And this is your new mantra. Before you walk into any interview, just repeat this to yourself. Think growth, think contribution, and think long-term. If you frame your ambition around these 3 pillars, you will project the exact kind of professional maturity that every single employer is looking for. So, the next time you face this question, you won't see it as a test you have to pass, but as a story you get to tell. You now have the framework to tell a compelling story of your ambition, your potential, and your commitment. The only question left is, how are you going to make that story your own?